Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, this very violent arsonist, Anglo male, sets a fireness upon a daycare and also a fireness upon an elder or elderly couple's home and some other things. But at the same time, in this system of supremacy, which is the most awesome mental manipulation force that's ever existed, they keep trying to get as many people as possible, and they succeed very much in general, to sit there and try to act like that it's Black Americans, especially Black American males, that are commit the most crimes, and act like Black American males are the ones who commit the most violent crimes. And that is statistically not even true. And they'll sit there and try to use one of the main categories, which are one category of the category of murder, which is a terribleness, regardless, of course, of a criminality. At the same time, when you look at the statistics, and you see it's not even a gigantic difference between numbers of Anglo males committing murder and numbers of Black males who have done that. And this system that has disillusionary lying at its also coordinates and sectionalities, right, are certain parts of the predominate culture, the ones it applies to, that will lie, that will say anything that they have to sit there and minimize the criminality and however numbers of personnel within various sections of predominate culture. They will lie. And how many crime statistics of violence and other white collar crime is not included upon numbers of males that have, or numbers of females that have done criminality within certain sections of predominate culture? How many? You'll never know. But at the same time, when you bring up something about race, and they keep trying to tell Black American people there's no such thing as race, when race been continued, racial racism, terrorism, that's been doing this consistently for centuries in various sections of America. When did it ever stop? You see how this goes. And the nerve of some Black adjacent hiders who fled their country, or their parents fled their countries, and regurgitate the same nonsensical rhetoric, right, over and over, but get to America and have the nerve look down upon Black American folks who built this country. The nerve. But when it concerns them saying, oh, well, we know some people within various sections of predominant code, we know they commit a lot of criminality, they won't say nothing because they're scared. So let me go ahead and share my screen on this situation. Make sure you can see this right quick. This didn't daycare owners assist this law enforcement in arresting a very violent Anglo arsonist suspect. On this, right? This didn't happen a long time ago, still 2025. The owners of a Denton daycare, Texas, daycare was shocked to learn enforcement connected the suspect, the Anglo suspect, who set their daycare on fireness, to an arson spree. The Anglo suspect, who was arrested for arson, was responsible for more fireness, including a house fireness that took the lives of an elderly couple. Surveillance videos from January 2025 show the Denton daycare going up in flames. There's this violent cretin, arsonist. But just focus on what Black Americans are doing, right? And the few amount that do some not so good things. when overall amount of Black American people are the most overall patriotic, the most openest people ever in America, right? And you got numbers of people that keep trying to use Black Americans kind of for their weakness. Denton, Texas, owners of a Denton daycare were shocked to learn enforcement connected the suspect who set their daycare on fire to an arson spree. The Anglo suspect who was arrested for arson was responsible for more fires, including a house fire that unalived an elderly couple. The Denton enforcement personnel announced a 36-year-old, he was only 36 years old, John Howard Orr, now faces 2 counts of arson causing bodily injury or unalivement. What they are saying, the arrest brought Denton daycare owners, such and such person, back to that January 2025 evening when they got the notification that the daycare's fire alarm was going off. It was really heartbreaking to see the damage he really had done to the community. I knew I was affected by him, but I didn't know the others were. This particular person. For me, it was deeper than I even thought it was. Surveillance videos from January 2025 show the Denton Texas daycare going up in flames. He had a cigarette in his hand, smoking. He walked around and came back and didn't have it. So we walked over there, and the cigarette was still on the ground, said this particular person. The backstory of the other story, in December, Denton firefighters responded to a house fire off Houston Place, where a 103-year-old man and an 83-year-old woman later succumbed to their injuries behind this deadly, violent Anglo male arsonist. After a long investigation spanning several months, their unalivements were rude homicide. The day before, a fast food restaurant sustained serious damage from a fire investigators say it was intentionally started. So I'm just going to stop right there. But at the same time, when you sit there and say, if this was a Black American male that did this, you hear all kind of N words up and down, and Black males are lazy, and they always talk about racism and they need to work hard. But when it's someone like this, then it's not about race then, right? It's about this.
After all, we all belong to the same race, the human race.
Say that again, right? Say that again.
This intense rivalry. After all, we all belong to the same race, the human race.
See how the disgusting game goes, right? Oh, let me share my screen right quick. This is a quick video. Give me a second. Let me play a few minutes of this video. Make sure you can see that. Okay.
Police say they have captured a serial arsonist. Following months of investigation, 36-year-old John Howard Orr is charged with at least 4 counts of arson, including 2 first-degree felonies. Cops say Orr's crime streak began back in December when he deliberately set multiple places on fire, including a home which killed 2 elderly victims. A daycare was also torched. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke with the owner of that business. She's live tonight with that update. Hi, Peyton.
Hi, Casey. And the owners of the daycare, they were shocked to learn the suspect in their case was charged for other fires in Denton. It brought them back to that January evening when they got the notification their fire alarm at the daycare was going off.
Every time I would go, I would just stand there. I didn't quite know what to do.
Emotions resurfaced Sunday for Charlie Torrey. Surveillance video from January shows her Denton daycare going up in flames. But this week, Torrey learned police connected the suspect who set the daycare on fire to an arson spree, including a house fire that killed an elderly couple.
It was really heartbreaking to see the damage that he had really done to the community, because I knew that I was affected by him, but I didn't know that others were.
Denton police just announced 36-year-old John Howard Orr now faces 2 counts of arson causing bodily injury or death. In December, Denton firefighters responded to a house fire off Houston Place. A 103-year-old man and an 83-year-old woman later died from their injuries. After a months-long investigation, their deaths were ruled a homicide. The day before, a fast food restaurant sustained serious damage from a fire investigators say was intentionally started.
It used to be a purple room.
A month later, on January 21st, police say Orr is this man. In video from Tender Loving Care Learning Academy. He uses a rock to bust the window open. Then it appears gasoline is poured on the floor and the fire ignites. Detectives say all 3 fires were started in the same way.
Now you saw this black American couple. Just give an example. Started this daycare. So she started daycare. He was still helping out, of course. Right? And you see what this violent Anglo male did. Sounded like a lot of jealousy. But black people are lazy, right? Right? And then how do you explain that 103, 104, whatever year old male and his 80-something-year-old wife that also transitioned behind the hands of that violent Anglo male arson who set their house afire as well. But just keep paying attention what Black Americans are doing, right? Well, it's not about race. Well, at the same time, it's been about race consistently when it's about black folks, right? But when it's something dealing with some violent person within certain parts of predominate culture committing criminality over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? Then it's like, well, it's
Intense rivalry. After all, we all belong to the same race, the human race.
the sick mental tactics that is consistently put upon American blacks. Not talking about coons and sellouts and gullible ones. To sit there and try to shame Black Americans to think that they are the criminals when it's personnel within various sections of the predominant culture who commit the most crimes, be it violent crimes overall and certainly white collar crimes. And you got ones who know they are that are not, they're classified as not necessarily Caucasian, but they can slide under the banner of that. So they dip in and dip out. See how that goes, right? I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.